Banks just tried to kill Bitcoin, and the whole world is racing to join them. And this time they're serious. You probably heard that Jamie Dimon, the JP Morgan CEO, he called for Bitcoin to be shut down. And this is just the start. And the truth about this story is way more unsettling than it seems in the news headlines. The price of Bitcoin has been doing great. It went from $3,600 to around $46,000 over the last 5 years. ETH went from $120 to roughly $2,300. And the crypto market as a whole has a market cap of over $1.8 trillion. Crypto is still here, it's resilient, it's growing. So why is the JP Morgan CEO calling for a $1.8 trillion industry to be shut down? Why are US senators and governments around the world repeating this guy's words? And what will happen if they actually succeed? How do you need to think in order to avoid falling prey to all of this nonsense? And why is the truth behind all of this the exact opposite of what they're telling us? This is an insane story. All right, let me set the stage. There's this Senate Banking Committee in December. Jamie Dimon, he walks in, he makes a bunch of wild statements about crypto. He literally said, "I've always been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, etc. The only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, money laundering, tax avoidance. If I was the government, I'd close it down." Now, this isn't new for Jamie. He called Bitcoin a hyped-up fraud, a pet rock, and referred to crypto tokens in general as decentralized Ponzi schemes. Which in his defense, some of them are. But that's quite the statement to make about a $1.8 trillion industry. For perspective, the total amount of physical US dollars in circulation is 2.3 trillion. This is a big deal. Imagine if all the cash, the physical cash that everyone in the world holds, was just gone. That's pretty close to what he's calling for. And before I show you something that makes Jamie look like a total fraud, I need to do a quick portfolio update. Over on our Finova Patreon page, we're trading cryptos and posting buy alerts every day. Let me show you a recent trade that we made into the DeSo crypto. Here we identified a trade opportunity. That turned into a nice 20% gain, but then it kept going and hit 32%. And then a few days later, it hit 70% profit. I'm super excited that all of our members got access to that trade. If you were a member, that trade would have been yours. It's that simple. So if you'd like to join, I just opened 15 new spots this week. That's linked in the description. Now, back to Jamie and what the banks are up to. Jamie hates crypto, supposedly. Because if you dig a little bit deeper, you'll find that Jamie is a proponent of the blockchain with proper regulation. He said there'd be nothing wrong with a stablecoin, which is like a money market fund, properly regulated. And he even said, this is the craziest thing of them all, he said that JP Morgan was, quote, a big user of the blockchain. Unsurprisingly, the government just agrees with his overall sentiment. Elizabeth Warren, she said, when it comes to banking policy, I'm not usually holding hands with the CEOs of multi-billion-dollar banks, but this is a matter of national security. Terrorists, drug traffickers, and rogue nations should be barred from using crypto for their dangerous activities. It is time for Congress to act. Act on what? How much of this is actually true? That's my question. If it was like 90% of all crypto transactions are fraud or illegal, or even 50%, sure, yeah, whatever, ban it. But are Bitcoin and cryptos like really this safe haven for criminals, terrorists, and rogue nations? Like, is that really a big problem? And should we be looking to JP Morgan and Jamie Dimon to be the arbiter of justice for financial crime? Because if you look into it, JP Morgan, they've been fined $39 billion over the last 24 years for what? Financial offenses, banking violations, consumer protection violations. They even played a role in the 2008 financial crisis, which, devastated the entire global economy, landing them a $13 billion fine. So, like, are these the guys who know, right and wrong when it comes to financial crimes? It's up to you to decide. But what about crypto and Bitcoin? The data suggests that criminals are using cryptos to commit a wide array of crimes, but it's nowhere near the extent that Dimon and Warren are stating. Fiat currency, that still remains the preference for criminals. Like, that's untrackable. Crypto is trackable. Seems kind of obvious. In January, though, the Cato Institute dug into this issue. They broke down, how, crypto can be used for crime. Obviously, you can transact value. And that should be taken seriously. Obviously. But the idea that it's the go-to tool for terrorists and criminals just doesn't hold up. Listen to this. Money laundering through crypto was around $8.6 billion in 2021. That sounds like a whole lot of money, until you realize that $2 trillion is laundered every year. 8.6 billion is a very small drop in that ocean. Then there's this ex-CIA director, Michael Morrell. He argued that the generalizations about the use of Bitcoin in illicit finance were very significantly overstated. The CIA guy says that. He even said that the blockchain ledger, like the system in which Bitcoin is transacted on, is actually a good thing for law enforcement. It aids in surveillance and helps bring criminals to justice, which if you know anything about crypto, it's like, yeah, it's trackable. So between you and me, the exact opposite of what hypocrites Jamie and Warren are saying is the case. Although, to give the full picture, in fairness, some are saying that that CIA director guy was paid, and that's pro-crypto propaganda. So what can you believe? I don't know. Here's what I have to say. Be an independent thinker and decide for yourself if crypto is good or bad. I like to think of it this way. You can go to the store and you can buy a shovel right now. You can use that shovel to get home and build a beautiful garden. Or you can get home and bury a body. Crypto is a tool just like anything else. It's neither good nor bad. It just is. The real question, though, if you're a big shot like Jamie, why say crypto is a problem that must be stopped? And why are other global banks following in this same line of thinking? That's the big question. Is there a move to crack down on the crime that's just inherent in the crypto space? Is there a move to globally regulate Bitcoin in order to fight criminals? You tell me. Revolut, the UK finance app, is suspending UK crypto services in response to new FCA rules. China has cracked down on a $2.2 billion crypto network. This is like their 17th attempt to ban crypto and control the money flowing in and out of their country. No big surprise for China. And this regulation stuff just keeps going. The Basel Committee for Banking wants more regulations on stablecoins. India has blocked multiple VASPs claiming that they're operating illegally. Companies like Binance and Kraken have come under fire. All of this just paints this terrible picture about the space. But bear in mind that even when the US was forcing legal settlements on Binance, its user base still grew by 30%. It just feels weird, doesn't it? Like, it feels like something's off here. How can something simultaneously get more used and more safe and more technologically advanced while also facing this siege of threats and words against it? It's almost like someone with a whole lot of power has something to lose thanks to big, disruptive technology. Who is that someone, and who ultimately gains from this? Take a guess. Well, JP Morgan has taken a dump on Bitcoin and other cryptos. They're working on their own tokenization platform. I mean, if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about this issue, like, imagine if I came on here, I came on this video and I said, I'm anti-meme coin. I hate them. They should be cleared off the face of the earth. And then I turned around the next day and said, hey, I just launched Dookie Coin, the coin that does nothing and never will. Go buy it. Like, hopefully you'd stop listening to me. That's my case for Jamie Dimon. That's the situation we're in right now. And the story only gets crazier. Crypto is growing. Countries like Nigeria, who have been regulating crypto, are also working on their own token. And I suspect if you just look at how crypto is getting legislated around G20 countries and major financial hubs, more and more of these products from large institutions or government banks are going to start popping up. We will see that. But why? In cases like China, they're just trying to suppress and control their population. Like, no surprises there. But in most of the rest, it looks like a whole bunch of institutions that are just trying to get their slice of that $1.8 trillion crypto pie. Control the market, then pump your own products, which explains, at least in a tinfoil hat kind of way, why there's all this open hatred towards crypto by massive institutions. Picture this. This will help. You run a massive bank. You see the utility of crypto. You see the writing on the wall that this is the likely future of money. You see it getting more and more popular and useful by the year, but you didn't hop in at 2011. You missed out at that point. What do you do with your billions of dollars and your massive influence? It's pretty obvious. You say that everything on the market is junk. You launch massive press campaigns stating the risks of the current system, touting that more control and more regulation is needed right now. You pay celebrities to say, yeah, I don't know about all that crypto stuff. Like, maybe I'll get in once I can trust it more. Once an institution backs something like that. Just weasel that into the media. You create a problem and then you solve that problem. You solve it by launching your own solution that's far superior and far safer. All upsides, no downsides with your solution. Then you get your friends at the government to regulate the living hell out of it so that they can say they're doing a good job, they're protecting the world. But most importantly, those regulations make it so it's now extremely hard for anyone to compete because any startup has to deal with these massive amounts of laws and regulations to get started. It no longer makes sense to compete. And there you have it. You, Mr. Banking Billionaire, just added another zero to your net worth, all while looking like the hero for building something safe. But that's just a wild theory, right? What can you do about all this? Honestly, not a lot. Banks and governments, they have most of the power in the short run. If they start clamping down on Bitcoin or other cryptos, then there's not going to be a whole lot that investors can do. The best thing that we can do is buy cryptos that we believe in and help make sure that they're decentralized. If they are, there's only so much a government can ever do to completely stop that token or stop you from holding that token or hiding that token. Look at China. They try to ban crypto every other day because banning it just doesn't work. That's kind of the point of crypto. We need that to remain true. I'm always so, you've probably seen this, I'm always so happy when I see some kind of like negative news come out that says, you know, whatever about crypto. And then you look at the prices, you're like, oh, it's probably gone down. And they've actually gone up. I love that about the world of crypto, about the people within crypto. That's the power of the people. Obviously, don't be dumb though. Don't have a portfolio that's 100% crypto or 100% anything for that matter. It's far too risky. So here, this is what I do. Next time you see some kind of hit piece against crypto or anything for that matter, question it. Ask yourself, who stands to gain from this content? There will almost always be someone. Once you can answer that, then you should ask yourself a second question. Should I trust this information? And then be honest with yourself. Even if it's news you want to hear, question it, especially if it's news that you want to hear. Again, just be an independent thinker. Look at the actions that people make, not just what they say. If a bank executive is yelling off the rooftop to ban crypto before rushing off to his lab to build his own crypto, maybe crypto will be just fine.